Look, we are mindful that we are here at an important juncture in the history of this pandemic, this disease. And while it's absolutely true, and I appreciated the comments, that California is leading the nation in terms of doses administered, over 43.5 million doses have been administered in this state, 17.6 million more than any other state. We are mindful of the increase in positivity rate. We're mindful of the efficiency of the Delta virus. We're mindful of the increase in case rates and hospitalization rates in this state because too many people have chosen to live with this virus. We're at a point in this epidemic, this pandemic, where choice, individuals' choice not to get vaccinated is now impacting the rest of us in a profound and devastating and deadly way. That choice has led to an increase in case rates, growing concern around increase in death rates, and self-evidently around hospitalization rates, not just here in the state of California that has a 5.3% positivity rate, that's half of Texas, roughly a third of states like Florida, but across the rest of the nation. We're mindful of our responsibility to do more and to do better. We're mindful of our responsibility to lead by example as well. California was the first state to do a stay-at-home order. It wasn't without its critics. Continues to address the issues by asserting itself, this state, by leaning in. And we will continue to do that as we advance today's new cause, and that's to address the concerns we have in our healthcare facilities throughout the state of California. But as it relates to leading by example, 246,000 Californians are state employees. 246,000 Californians should be vaccinated. And if they're not vaccinated and cannot verify that they've been vaccinated, we are requiring that they get tested. California is committed to vaccination, verification, and or testing on a weekly basis. We're not stopping just with state employees. Today, we're also announcing partnerships that include those like Kaiser, private sector now stepping up, organizations representing physicians and dentists, dialysis clinics stepping up, private sector clinics are committing to the same. In healthcare settings, they're committed not only to verification of vaccines, but also testing, and that testing cadence will increase to twice a week in high-risk, highly vulnerable settings. What are those? Well, not surprising, acute care settings, skilled nursing facilities would be among them. Our application implementation of these new requirements that will go out under a health order in the state of California begin on August 9th and are implemented through August 23rd. And we hope this example of public and private leadership as it relates to vaccine verifications, vaccine mandates, and or mandated testing 1 to 2 times a week with also commensurate PPP, or rather PPE obligations as it relates to protective gear, N95 respirator masks as an example, will lead to others to replicate this example in the private sector. You're seeing that in private businesses and enterprises, from Bay Area businesses, the bar businesses that are deciding to come together and require some form of verification. We encourage that in the private sector across the spectrum, not just in these healthcare settings. But as it relates to healthcare settings in the state of California, dental settings, doctors, all of these other acute centers, as well as congregate centers that include jails, homeless shelters, we are now asking for that verification, no longer requiring or rather encouraging self-attestation. This is a requirement to prove you've been vaccinated, and if you have not, you'll be tested. And so we are sincere in our belief and desire that we need to step things up at this stage of the pandemic. Our projections are sobering. Our projections over the course of the next number of weeks will show a significant increase in hospitalizations if we continue down this path. Our projections will put additional pressure on systems like Kaiser's and systems all throughout the state. Here's the good news. Last week, we saw a 16% increase in the number of people getting their first dose or receiving a J&J vaccine, a 16% increase in vaccinations last week. First doses representing a little over 255,000 shots administered. We're seeing as well an increase in people getting vaccinated in what we refer to as the Healthy Place Index Quartile 1. And forgive me, I lost 99% of you, but for the 1% that understand what I'm talking about, that's the most vulnerable zip codes in the state of California. Those are the communities most at risk, the communities most impacted by this pandemic. That's around our equity frame, our equity metric. We have actually seen a 7-week consistent increase relative to other quartiles of vaccination rates, and that also includes the Latino community, of which we have seen a very modest uptick, an encouraging uptick in vaccination rates as well. Look,